What's going on, everybody? You are watching the Packers Report. I am your host, Joey Petersen. And guess what? We are 1 week away from kicking off the NFL season. It feels crazy that we're finally here. We've been waiting for it for a very long time, and we're about to be there just 7 more days. On today's show, I'm going to give you my final Packers 2025 record prediction, okay? I did this once the schedules dropped in May, but a lot of things have changed since then. So I wanted to redo it, stake my claim right before the season starts. That way, when I get it perfect, we can look back at this video at the end of the season and say, wow, Joey, that was a really great call. Make sure you like the video, though, okay? If you want the Packers to beat the Lions in Week 1, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button and prove it that you want the Packers to get to a 1-0 start. Let's start with the game against the Lions. I have a feeling that what is going to help switch this game up is Micah Parsons. So give me a win against Detroit. I get it. They have a lot of really, really elite weapons. Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown against Green Bay's secondary. It doesn't sound favorable, in my opinion. But when you add in the help from Micah, the pass rush from him and Rashawn, I think that's going to help them getting home before Jared Goff's going to be able to even get the ball out. And if you can pressure Jared Goff, Washington proved that in the NFC Championship game last year. Houston proved it as well. He will make mistakes. I can promise you that. Week 2 against Washington Commanders with Thursday Night Football. I think you win this one as well. Okay? I'm not very high on Washington this year. I actually think that Washington, even though I think their roster's better than it was in 2024, I think that they take a step back. And I think that they win 2 less games this year, maybe win 10. They just won a lot of really close games last year. Their 4th down conversion rate was the best in the National Football League in almost the history of the NFL. And so I think that kind of evens itself out. We go back to the mean. And I think they lose a lot more games than they did last year, one of them being to Green Bay. Week 3, when we short, quick, simple this one, you take on the Browns on the road, you beat the Browns on the road. That's a win against Cleveland. Week 4 against the Dallas Cowboys. I'm actually going to take that one and give it a win. I predicted this to be a win before the Micah Parsons edition. You own AT&T Stadium. It's basically Lambeau Part 2. And I can't help but believe that Micah Parsons is going to get 5 sacks that game. So give me Green Bay against Dallas in Week 4. It's a tough stretch in the beginning, okay? I will admit. Lions, Commanders, Cowboys in your first 4 weeks is not easy. What do you think the Packers' record is after Week 4? Let me know in the comment section down below. Maybe I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid too much. Maybe I'm just too excited about the recent news. But I actually have them going 4-0 after the first 4 weeks. I'm curious where you have them. Week 5, you take your rest, you get your bye. I don't love the fact that that bye is so early, but it is what it is. You're going to take it when you get it. Week 6, you take on the Bengals. I think you beat Cincinnati. I just don't think I just don't think their defense is good enough. It's really, really bad. It's going to be worse than the National Football League. They're going to have to score 30-something points a game every game to have some type of a winning record, okay? So I think you beat Cincinnati because that one is at home. They have a lot of really good weapons. I think if that one's on the road, it might be a different story, but because you have him in Lambeau, that's a win. On the road against Arizona, I think this is Kyler Murray's last season with the Cardinals. I think that's a win in Week 7. I don't care that it's on the road. I actually like Jonathan Gannon. I think he's doing some impressive things with Arizona. Obviously, Maserati Marv, he's going to grow into his own. I think he's going to have a good year. I'm just not a really big Kyler guy. I think this year is going to be a little bit of a dissension between him and Arizona, and I think you beat him. Week 8 on the road against the Steelers. I think you lose this one, okay? I think you lose it because you're on the road, you're away from Lambeau, and you're facing Aaron Rodgers. This is going to be the most important game in his career in a very, very long time. And I think if this one's in Lambeau, it might be different. But the fact that you're going to Acrisure Stadium, we all know that place is absolutely crazy. And hey, look, I got them starting 6-0. So the fact that I only have them losing in week 8, if you're upset about that, go cry me a river. So they go to 6-1, and then they take on the Panthers in week 9. They beat the Panthers in week 9. I like Bryce Young a lot. I liked him a lot coming out of college. I think he's going to have a good year. The roster's not up to snuff yet. And so they beat the Panthers. Week 10, they play the Eagles. I do think this is a loss. We all know that the Eagles have been a tough nut for Green Bay to crack, especially last season. I don't think that's any different this year in the beginning of the year. If you get them again in the postseason, things might be able to be different. I don't think they will be on week 10. It's going to be Monday Night Football primetime. Going to be awesome. I'm so excited about it. But it is a game I think you lose. Week 11, you go on the road against New York. You go on the road, you beat New York, okay? I think the Giants, they're going to be better than they were last year because their pass rush is going to be the best in the game with Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence. Who am I missing, Connell? Brian Burns, thank you. Like, guys, they're going to be legit. And so, at least up front. But I still think roster perspective, if you compare one to the other, it heavily favors Green Bay. So I don't care. You're on the road. Give me the win against the Giants. I think you win against the Vikings. I think you beat Minnesota at home. When you have a guy like Micah and Rashawn all on that defensive line and Edgerrin Cooper at the linebacker position, and you can get that much pressure on a rookie quarterback. I know he's not a rookie, but this is his first season fully playing in the National Football League, so he basically is. I think that's going to be really, really hard for him. Week 13, you go on the road against the Lions. I think you lose this one. Detroit, like I said in the beginning, has a lot of really good weapons. They had a really great home record last year. That's going to be a hard one to win on the road, especially after playing a really physical Brian Flores team in Minnesota the week before. So I think you notch your third loss in Week 13 against Detroit. Speaking of those divisional games, where do you think Green Bay finishes in the NFC North? Because after the move, I think they might finish first overall. I think they might win it this year. Okay? That's my pick. That's my thoughts. But I'm curious to see kind of where you stand on that whole thing. Okay? So let me know where you have them finishing. I'm about to tell you about our great friends over at Underdog for a second, but don't go anywhere because I'll be back with more schedule prediction. Is there anything better than football season? Is there anything better than making money? What if I told you there's a way you could do both at the same time? Of course, I'm talking about our friends over at Underdog. Football is here, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Let's cut to the chase. If you download the app today and sign up with promo code PackersReport, you score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash, and you can play with as little as $1. Guys, we are just a week away from Week 1 kickoff against the Detroit Lions. Here's how my Underdog lineup is looking right now. I got the higher on Jordan Love passing touchdowns with 1.5. I also have the higher on Jahmyr Gibbs receiving yards, 25.5. And I guess I like, running backs being pass catchers because also give me the higher on Josh Jacobs, 2.5 receptions. Why don't you play along with me over at Underdog? Because right now you could download the app today and sign up with promo code PackersReport to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code PackersReport. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. Week 14 is when we play our favorite little brother at home against the Bears. I think you win that one. Look, we got to be real. Chicago's going to be better this year than they were last year. I think Ben Johnson is a good coach. I think he's going to do wonders for Caleb Williams. But at the end of the day, they're a couple years away, I think, from competing with the big boys, and so I still think you win that one. On the road in Denver, week 15. I think this is a loss against the Broncos. They have the probably best defense in the National Football League. Everything from their elite pass rush, their secondary. They just added Dre Greenlaw in that linebacker room. Like, they have an unbelievable defense. And you're playing a Mile High Stadium, week 15. That's not an easy place to go into the year. By that point, Broncos could be in a divisional race for the AFC West. So I think it might, I don't want to say it might mean more, but I do think that's a loss. Week 16 against the Bears on the road, Soldier Field. Guess what? You own that place as well. You beat the Bears on the road. I think we're a couple years away, maybe, from splitting this series. But for now, you're still going to end up dominating it. Week 17 against the Ravens at home. I think you win this one, okay, for a couple of reasons. Lamar Jackson, we all know he's maybe the best quarterback in the NFL. But we know also he struggles in cold weather. Not all the time, but there are case studies about it. Also, week 17, I've got a feeling the AFC North could be close to wrapped up by then. And I think you're going to have a really, really tight race for the NFC North by the end of it. So that game might just mean a little bit more. And, of course, it's at home. Give me the win against the Ravens. Week 18 on the road against the Vikings. I think you lose this one. I also think that at this point you might have the division wrapped up. You very well could, okay? If you don't, if that's on the line, I would give this a win. But because I think that could not be, and you're on the road, I think that's a loss. So my final, actually, I think that's. Can you read only that, Connell? That goes to 18 games. I think I was 12-5, not 12-6. Thank you so much. My final record prediction, if you're keeping track with us, and I hope you were, predicting along with us as well, is 12-5. Okay. I think that this team has a really, really good season. I could see them winning more games. I could see them winning less games. I think if everybody could stay healthy, and I mean the big boys like Jordan Love, Micah, Josh Jacobs, I think the ceiling is 14, floors maybe 9 to 10. It's going to be a good year for Green Bay. Okay, I have a really, really good feeling about it. I just gave you their record. Now it's your turn. Do it in the comment section. 2025, what's the Packers' record? Let me know down below. That'll be it for today's show. Make sure you got me followed on social media at Joey Petersen 8 on Twitter and on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, okay? Because we got you covered all season long right here on the Packers Report.